Hey there, Eve here from Vitamin Eve Nutrition Counseling, and today I want to talk about emotional eating because cultivating an easy, relaxed, peaceful relationship with food is very difficult, if not impossible, if you don't address emotional eating, especially if it's something that you deal with often, and if it happens in large amounts and you feel scared or stressed by this, you really need to address this. And I'm going to share a case study to help give you some tools on how you can navigate this for yourself. So I'm going to share about a client, and she really struggled with emotional eating. When she was tired, she would eat. When she was bored, she would eat. If she wanted to procrastinate, she would eat. You get the picture, right? When something was going on in her emotional world and she felt uncomfortable, she would use food to help her cope with the feelings that she was having. And by the way, I use the term emotional eating. Some people call this compulsive eating, mouth hunger. It's basically anytime you're eating when you're not hungry. So I want to share about this client because she had a very full life, and she had to address this because her life was so full, and becoming trigger-free is not really an option if you want to have a satisfying full life. So she really wanted to learn how to navigate these moments of emotional or compulsive eating without having to turn to food. And so for her, there are some key steps that she took, and I want to share them with you so you could try them for yourself. Something that she did, that she learned how to do in working with me, was beginning to determine the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. This was big because when she was having the craving and it wasn't for physical hunger, she knew what was going on. The next step was sometimes she knew the cause. She knew it was triggering her to eat, and sometimes she didn't. And this is key. Oftentimes people get confused because they can't figure out what the trigger is, and so they don't know what to do. And what I want you to know is you don't necessarily have to know what the trigger is to cope with your emotional eating effectively. In fact, I get really peeved out when people are so busy trying to figure out what's, impacting and what's causing the emotional eating instead of addressing the fact that they have an emotional need in the moment. So this is really, really something to think about. And so this is what's so interesting in working with her is we didn't give her a substitution. In fact, giving her substitutions to food triggered her eating even more. And that makes sense because for some people, that urge to eat is part of you trying to let you know that something's going on in your emotional world. And if you try to give yourself something to distract yourself, well, that could be an even bigger trigger. So instead, what I worked on with her, which was really valuable for her, was teaching her at how to expand her capacity to feel what was going on in her life. This was so powerful because not only did she know how to navigate her trigger to eat emotionally because she knew what was going on, but it was huge because she noticed that she was no longer going to food in the first place because she was able to navigate her feelings without using food. Do you get what I'm saying here? And I wrote a quote earlier today, and I'm gonna read it to you because I love the way it flowed out, and I hope it makes sense. I'm gonna read it to you because I don't want to miss out any of the words. So a big myth is the belief that overcoming emotional eating takes massive self-control. But the opposite is actually true. It's only when we finally give ourselves permission to surrender, to experience the full range of what it means to be human, that we no longer need to use food to soothe what it feels like to be alive. Yes, that was a mouthful, but I think it conveyed what I'm trying to say so well, so that's why I'm reading it to you. So if you want some of this for yourself, if what I'm saying is resonating for you, you're in the right place, because in a few weeks, I'm going to be holding a masterclass. It's a 12-week masterclass called The Foundations of Food Freedom. There's a link below if you're interested in learning more. And during the course of these 12 weeks, I'm going to be discussing things like this, providing tools, strategies. You'll be getting hunger work. There are 10 different modules, and all the sessions are live, so I'll be there pouring all my love into you. If this feels like something you're interested in, again, there's a link in my bio, and I'd be so happy to have you. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or to send me a private message, or you can even comment on this video and I can respond to you in that way as well. So some people might think, well, Eve, how long does it take? I don't have time for this. The good news is the session only meets about 60 to 90 minutes once per week. And if you can't make the call times, that's okay. I'm gonna record the videos and you'll get a copy of the recording that you could download and keep for life. So for the rest of your life, you could have me in your computer And again, if you're afraid this is going to take too much time, just imagine how much more time you're going to have, and more energy and freedom and ease and creativity and clarity when you're no longer stressed out about food. Think about it that way. Also, some people are afraid that if they try this intuitive eating thing, or learning how to eat mindfully, or whatever you want to call it, could be troublesome. You know, a lot of people that I work with have a challenging time when they tried intuitive eating in the past. They felt like it was a free-for-all and they felt out of control with food, and that's not what we're teaching here. In fact, you know, almost 100% of the people who come to me to start working with me, they're actually afraid. They're afraid that it's not going to work for them, or, you know, that they're going to have a hard time like they had in the past. But the truth is, you'll never have the peace and freedom and ease and sanity with food if you don't work on it. So I invite you to, you know, join us. If you have any questions or you want to learn more, again, please feel free to ask me. And, you know, I'm curious to know, was this video helpful? Did you find the strategies I shared about this client helpful for you? What helped you the most? Was there anything I left out? If you are working on your own emotional eating and dealing with that, and you have some tips to offer, feel free to comment below, share the wisdom, share the wealth of what you know and your experience here. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye.